90 academic majors or 90 programs here of study, ranging from a lot of different natural sciences. For a small school, we offer great natural sciences, everything from microbiology and genetics to zoology, pre-professional zoology, and our pre-professional veterinary science degree. So there's lots of different natural sciences. Then we go all the way to the social sciences, politics and government, economics, some of our business-like majors. So we have over 90 areas of study. They are all listed on our website, so it's a really good place to check them out. I probably can't list all 90 of them off the top of my head. But then also over 100 student clubs and organizations. So there's lots to do outside of the classroom as well. Everything from the knitting club and the rock climbing club to intramural sports. We have a lot going on here outside of the classroom for our students as well.
Great. Cece wants to know, do you have a strong internship program in place for sports management majors? The answer is definitely yes. We are close to Columbus, which is the 15th largest city in the country. We have a few professional sports teams, the NHL Columbus Blue Jackets, which I'm a season ticket holder. I can tell you it's awesome. We also have professional soccer with the Columbus Crew. We have plenty of sports internships right here on our campus as well if you don't have a car. We also have alums all over the country. We have a very prominent alum who works for the Cleveland Indians if you're interested in baseball. So there's definitely a lot to choose from. I know you're not a sports management major, but do you want to talk a little bit about your internship?
Yes. Last year I worked with the admissions office as a tour guide, so hopefully I would definitely encourage everyone to come around for a tour. They're a lot of fun. We enjoy doing them. And I decided that I wanted to pursue that interest a little bit more, so I applied to the senior admissions internship program. I was accepted, and very happily so.
And we're happy to have him.
Thank you, Kelly. One of the things that I like is I have first-hand experience working in an admissions office, running programs, scheduling meetings, scheduling travel, and this is something I'm actually planning on taking with me after I graduate. I'm looking to get a job in an admissions office in whatever state, whatever city my hopeful future graduate school is located in.
Great. All right. Another good question, since you're a current student, what is the area like surrounding OWU, and how far are you from shopping, nightlife, and movies?
Delaware, Ohio is definitely not something that I grew up with. I grew up in the city, but I love Delaware. There are so many places that you can go and eat. The food here, for a small town, is delicious. There are lots of things to do. There's the Strand Movie Theater, which is actually owned by Ohio Wesleyan. Tickets for students are about $5 each, so tickets and popcorn will pretty much cost you less than a movie ticket in any other theater in the country. Shopping, there are plenty of places to buy things around here. There's a Walmart right up the street, so if you need anything like that. We're right by a bunch of shopping centers, so it's really easy to go to. If there's something that you really can't find here, Columbus is just a 30-minute trip away. It's really easy to organize a trip there. And this is the thing that I say, if you can't find something that's going on campus or around campus, you're not looking hard enough. I promise you that there's always something going on. The fraternities host dance parties. There are always philanthropy events, speakers that are coming, music. There's actually a free jazz duo tonight that's playing at 8 o'clock, and I'm a little upset that I'm not going to see it, but I wanted to be with you guys. So there's always something going on, and that's something that's always been true.
Great.
And I'm pretty big into shopping, I'll have to admit. And there's a mall about 15 minutes away. I didn't have a car for my 4 years that I was here at Ohio Wesleyan as a student, but the campus center, from the campus center, there's a student involvement office. There's a couple different clubs that will run shuttles down to the mall. So if you don't have a car on campus and you want to get around, there are shuttles and the Ohio Wesleyan vans that you can take to and from Polaris, which is the closest shopping center.
Great. Looks like we've had a ton of questions just roll in, so we'll try to get through them as quickly as possible. The first is from Quentin. He wants to know, are private outside scholarships stackable on top of your OWU scholarships? And yes, they are. You have to pay close attention to the private scholarships and the language. It may say that they're only applicable to tuition costs, or they're only applicable towards books. So really read the language, and then what we'll do is put them in your financial aid package. The first thing we would subtract from your financial aid package would be loans. We don't want to reduce any of your scholarships from OWU or grants from OWU, so we'll try to incorporate those so we can maximize all of the aid that's possible. Let's see. Cece wants to know, do you offer academic assistance such as tutoring?
Yes, we do. We have a very strong academic resource center here on campus. It's located in one of our academic buildings, Corns building, and they have everything up there. I think there's 5 different centers up there: the writing center, the quantitative skills, the learning disabilities center. So there's lots going on up there. It's also where all of our academic advising is done through that office. So every student, when they come in, has an academic advisor. So that's the main area on campus for tutoring. It is free to students. Something that I think is really great about that office too is they have picked out a group of classes where students typically need extra tutoring. Organic chemistry, for instance, is one of those courses, and they have students out there, senior students that have been through organic chemistry that can help some of our students. So that's just one of the examples. They do that for a couple different courses here on campus, but it's a really, really great office. We have professional staff up there as well as student tutors, so it's really great for students and very accessible for students.
One of the things that you'll find is true about having a small school is you actually get to know your professors on a first name basis. I can't even tell you the number of times that I've gone to my teachers outside of the classroom and asked them for help. They've all been very receptive to that. So even if you can't find, for whatever reason, a tutor on campus, the teacher is usually willing to spend extra time like at their job to help you out, to make sure that you understand the material that you've been going through. None of the teachers here want you to fail. They're all here for you to succeed.
Great. It looks like we have a question from Zach and also a question from James that are kind of similar, so we'll go ahead and combine them. Zach wants to know, do you have to submit your test scores? And James wants to know, should I send my ACT or SAT or both? What do you think, Kelly?
Well, you do have to send test scores. That is one of our application requirements, that you do send us official test scores. If they come on your high school transcript, we will accept them as official. Most students will send them through the College Board that administers the SAT or the ACT organization. One or the other or both. You can send us however many scores you would like. We super score here in the admissions office, meaning if you take the ACT or the SAT multiple times, we will always use your highest subsections and create you the best possible score that we can. So I would encourage you to send us all of your test scores, the highest, the lowest, everything, so that we can take a look and take your highest ones from that. So it's very important that you do send us test scores. They are required.
Great. This is a good question for me because I'm the transfer coordinator. Taylor wants to know, do you take transfer credits from Clark State? I'm participating in a dual enrollment in my high school, and the credits transfer to Clark State. What happens is, if you, just in general rule of thumb, if you're attending a university that's accredited and you're actually receiving a transcript from that school, we will accept anything that's a C- or higher, and they have to be liberal arts courses in nature. So if it's like an English or a math, social science, those are all great classes that can transfer in pretty easily to Ohio Wesleyan. The one thing I will say, if you're planning on majoring in the natural sciences, maybe not take a natural science class at that level, because you will have to take our intro classes here. So just keep your classes basic and liberal arts and nature. Okay, Joanna wants to know, what is the student to teacher ratio and the average class size? Kel?
Sure. Our student to faculty ratio currently is about 12 to 1. So we have around 137, 140 full-time faculty members on campus, and the average class size is around 17. All Ohio Wesleyan classes are capped at 35, so you won't see anything larger than that. But our classes do range in size, but on average they're around 17.
Great. And either one of you can chime in on this. Zach wants to know, within the international relations major, does one specialize in a particular field or geographic area? Either one of you know?
They can, yes. It is optional for students to major in a specific area. It depends though on what you would like to study, because we also have a Latin American Studies major, an East Asian Studies major. So it might be that you find one of those a little bit more appealing than an International Studies major. The International Studies major is fairly broad, and students are also required to take, I believe, an additional language requirement for that major. So you can focus in a specialized area. If you'd like to, you can take all of your courses in a specific area. So that is an option for students, but most international studies majors are sitting on a broader basis.
Great. Taylor wants to know, some colleges have a Maymester. Do you offer something like this?
What is a Maymester?
A Maymester is a program where you can do optional classes or studying abroad in May. What we do have is something called travel learning courses, and what that involves is you take a semester-long course here during the spring, And then either during spring break or at the end of the school year, which is in the beginning of May, you and your entire class and your professors would do a 1 to 2 week abroad trip. So while we do not have an official Maymester, there are opportunities for you to take classes in May, and especially ones that are abroad or overseas. Okay, let's see here. Zach wants to know, what's the median GPA and SAT or ACT?
Sure. So we talked a little bit about the GPA requirements, but we do have an average GPA of about 3.5 for our incoming students. And then for the ACT and SAT, we like to give a mid 50% range, meaning this is 50% of our students. We have about 25% above and 25% below that for our incoming students. For the ACT, it's usually between a 22 and a 28. And for the SAT, it's between an 1120 and a 1300.
Great. Courtney wants to know, can you use a theory to practice grant over the summer?
Yes, you can.
Yes. You want to talk a little bit about it?
Yes, I have a number of friends who have taken advantage of the Theory to Practice grant. I'm applying for one myself this year. Essentially, as long as you outline when you would like to take this, use the grant, you can essentially do it at any time as long as you're not missing school for it. So I know people who have gone in the winter break. I know people who have gone on summer break. I know people who have gone on spring break. You just need to keep your proposal realistic. Don't cut any corners. Oh, I can't come to the last 4 days of school because I'm going on a TIPIT program. I promise you that probably won't be accepted.
Good. Excellent. Taylor wants to know, do you super score ACT scores? Yes, we do super score. And what that means is if you've taken the test multiple times, we'll pull out your best subsections. So we'll take your best math, reading, English, science. Those could all be on different tests. We'll pull out the highest and create a new average or super score. So it's very important that you go ahead and set us all of the scores. We also will convert or compare ACT to SAT scores, and we'll take whichever is highest. If you are taking a test, let's say in October or November, and you're wondering if you should still go ahead and apply or if you should wait, the answer is just go ahead and apply. And what happens is we will take any new scores that come in after your application or even after you've been accepted, and we can reevaluate you for scholarships if there is an increase. All right. You can take this one. Joanna wants to know, how's your study abroad program, and does it count with the tuition?
Sure. I love questions about study abroad. My senior year here at Ohio Wesleyan, studied abroad in Salamanca, Spain for a semester. I was a politics and government and Spanish double major and was able to do a study abroad program. That program is run through Ohio Wesleyan. We also offer 2 others. We offer one in Tanzania and one in Cork, Ireland. Those are 3 that are sponsored by Ohio Wesleyan. They are run through our campus. But we also have a list of 150 other approved programs that students can go on. So our abroad programs are great. We have a lot of different ones that are offered for students. And we recently redid the way that we do tuition with study abroad. So every student that does a semester abroad through one of those approved programs will be paying the same semester for their study abroad as they do for a semester on campus. So your scholarships, everything will transfer. They may be different names. That was something that I ran into, but they were all very similar in monetary value, and it cost me exactly the same as a semester on campus to do a study abroad experience.
And it's really awesome because not all schools do that. So it's a great question to ask. It can add substantial cost to your education, but here we try to make it the same, and we try to make it affordable for our students. Great. Quentin wants to know, are there scholarships that can be earned while students are enrolled in OWU? The scholarships that come from our office are all awarded during the application process, coming in as a freshman or a transfer student. However, I do know of students who apply for outside or private scholarships during their 4 years, and we will accept those into your financial aid package. Good question. James wants to know, how can I get involved in a varsity sport?
Sure. That's a great question. We are Division III in our athletics here, just to give you a little bit of background. We're the Battling Bishops. You can see our mascot right behind us. But again, we're Division III. We have 23 varsity sports currently on campus, 12 women's and 11 men's sports. And the easiest way to get involved with varsity sports is to reach out to our coaches. Our coaches are always open to hearing from students. And you can go online to our athletics webpage. If you go to our homepage, there's an athletics tab at the top. And you can submit your information just like you do for the admissions office to our athletics department. So that's a really quick way to get involved and get the process rolling. Once you do that, the coaches will probably be in contact with you, asking you some information, getting in touch, that sort of thing. They're very engaged with their student athletes. So you can do that during your campus visit. We can always allow you to meet with the coaches if they're available, see a practice, see a game. That's something we always encourage. Most of the teams will hold open tryouts at the beginning of their season. So that's, once you're on campus, the easiest way to get involved.
Macaulay, I think you said you do intramural sports. So if you don't want to be maybe at the varsity level, can you talk a little bit about intramurals?
It's not that I don't want to be at the varsity level, I'm not at the varsity level. One of the things that I never really knew when I was applying to college is what is an intramural sport. Intramural sports are sports that are played between organizations on campus. You can form a team of your good friends. You can form a team of people on your residence hall floor. You can form one with a student organization. I know that my fraternity and I always play soccer together. We always get killed in the early stages of the tournament, but it's a whole lot of fun. Essentially, all you have to do is find out when the registration period is. They'll let you know ahead of time, form your team. You can sign on as a free agent, so if people are looking for extra players, you can jump onto that team as well. They have pretty much for almost every sport that we have for varsity, we have an intramural. I think there are a few exceptions, but I know that we always play soccer and volleyball, and it's always a good time.
Sure. Awesome. Well, we got a comment back from Zach saying, great, thanks. I'm interested in South Asian or Southeast Asian studies and anthropology. So it sounds like the theory to practice grants where you can actually design your own research opportunity would be just up your alley, or one of our hundreds of approved study abroad programs, several of which are in Southeast Asia. So that's awesome. We hope you can come here and pursue all of your interests. All right. Taylor wants to know, upon graduation, what percentage of OU students find jobs in their actual field of study? This is a great question. First of all, I'll say about half of our students go directly onto graduate school or are in graduate school within 5 years of leaving Ohio Wesleyan. So really you have to look at the students who are pre-professional or looking to go on to that next step, and then separate that from the students who are job seeking. Of those students, over 90% are employed within an area of interest. That's typically not working at the mall or waitressing within 6 months after graduation, and we're really proud of that. Our average is above the average for private schools within the state of Ohio, as well as the GLCA, which is the Great Lakes College Association, and that's the consortium of private schools that we belong to. So we're thrilled that we meet and far exceed those averages. Great question. You're applying to graduate school, right?
Yes.
How's that going?
Terrifying. It's right now I'm working on a centralized application system for physical therapy graduate programs. One of the things that I like is I am currently scheduled for 3 separate meetings with different departments to make sure that my application is as strong as it can be. I have done my best. I have worked hard. I have pored over the books for hours and hours and hours. And this is just kind of the final stages to make sure that my application is absolutely airtight.
Great. Awesome. Zach wants to know, are there frats? If yes, how much of an influence? We'll let you get that in a second.
All right.
And then also, did you say study abroad for first semester in college? I thought there was only one college that did that. To my knowledge, we don't do study abroad your first semester. So I'm sorry if we misspoke or misheard that comment, but you typically, students will study abroad later in their career here. But you can do the travel learning courses your first year, and that would take place during your spring semester. So again, that's just a 1 to 2 week abroad component. Well, let's get back to frat life.
All right.
How fratty is it?
All right. I'll preface this with saying that frat is my 4-letter F word. I was one of the people. My dad made me watch Animal House before I came to college. If you haven't seen it, it's a great movie. Because he heard that there were fraternities here on campus. I was not interested in Greek life. I had no intention of joining, but what I found was a group of guys that I got along with really well. I wanted to hang out with them. They wanted to hang out with me, and then at the end of second semester here on campus, they extended me a bid, which is essentially an invitation to join the fraternity. The only option that made sense to me was to say yes. And I've not regretted that decision. The Greek systems here are very based on philanthropy involvement, and pretty much you'll find that leaders on campus are actually typically Greek. It's not, based on throwing couches out of windows or, falling down the stairs.
Oh, gosh.
Honestly, it's a great opportunity to network, to get to know people, and to really find a niche here on campus. I'm really glad I did it, and I definitely say everyone should at least investigate it. Keep an open mind and see what there is to find out there.
Great.
Greek life also, just real quick, is only about a third of our student population on campus. Something that I really liked about Greek life here was the men do live in the fraternity houses, but the women do not live in the sorority houses. I think it is a really good balance with Greek life. It's about a third of our students, but you will still find that our students that are not affiliated with Greek life are still very involved with what's going on. You will find them up at the frat houses every now and then, if that's your question. But it's a very integrated Greek life. It is definitely not something that is separate from the rest of the campus community.
Awesome. Courtney wants to know, are there any single dorms?
Single dorms? There are a few single options to live on campus. There is no specific residence hall for single rooms, but you'll find them peppered around campus, and they are things that you can preference, whether it's just the kind of way that you like to live, or if you have some specific need, you need to live in a single residence. The Residential Life Office will really work with you. They read through all of their housing applications personally. It's their favorite time of year, and they make sure that people are as comfortable as they can be. They're very accommodating.
Great, good to know. All right, this is another good question for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Joanna,
Hit me.
how is your psychology department and biology department? And if one wants to go to med school, what is the percentage of students that get accepted?
Good question.
Okay. One of the things that I like best, I'm a psychology major, I am a biology minor, so hopefully I can help you out with this.
Perfect.
I have always considered Ohio Wesleyan very strong in both the social sciences and the natural sciences, and I've taken a lot of coursework in both of them. For the psychology major, one of the things that I like best is that most students go on to do a directed readings, which is essentially a one-on-one, in-depth analysis with a professor about existing literature in the field on research topics that you are interested in. After that, people usually follow it up with independent research, which is actually pretty uncommon at an undergraduate level. What students will usually do is they will tag along with a professor's research and just kind of follow that. But I know plenty of people here who are doing their own psychology research and who are really engaged in that. That looks fantastic on a graduate school application. As for our biology department, I've heard people countless times saying it's one of the strongest they've ever encountered. One of the things that I like about our school is that 100% of the faculty that work here have a doctorate or the highest degree that you can achieve in your field. That's fantastic. It means that you're learning from the best. I have had biology courses that have kicked my butt, and I love it. It's honestly, people feel prepared. I know one person took, it was biochemistry at an undergraduate level, went on to study biochemistry at a graduate school level, and said that after the first semester here at Ohio Wesleyan, that they were set for life. I mean, it's a really rigorous coursework.
That's good to know. And our medical school placements, that's okay. They range between 95 and 100% every year. So that's phenomenal. You cannot get any better than that.
Twice the national average.
Twice the national average. And, medical school, I know you're looking into PT school, dental school, all of those pre-professional programs, in addition to graduate levels if you want to go into more scholarly work or work in academia. We definitely will prepare you for that next step. All right, Zach, it looks like you want to know if there's any skiing nearby. Zach, yes, I live in Central Ohio and I do own skis, believe it or not. While it's not going to be like skiing in Colorado or somewhere glorious, there is a nice little ski place. It's only about a half hour north of here. It's called Snow Trails. You can get a really cheap lift ticket and just go for the day. It's nice to get out of town and do that. Again, it's not going to be mind-blowing by any stretch of the imagination, but the people who work there are really nice, and they do a great job on maintaining the trails. So, yes, if you want, bring your snowboard, bring your skis. I'll go with you. It'll be a blast. So, great.
I will not go with you. I'm going to
We have another person who works in our office, Lori Patton, another admission counselor, and her and her family get season passes, and they go basically as much as they can multiple times a week. So, not a problem. All right. So let's see. Jake wants to know, can you tell us a little bit about your computer science department and the programs? I don't know if who wants to tackle that one.
Yeah. The computer science department is also very closely related with the mathematics department. It is a very strong major and it's a very rigorous major. Mathematics and both computer science are very tough here at Ohio Wesleyan, but they are things, again, that you can always seek extra help, talk to professors, that sort of thing, if that's what you plan on majoring in. It is not located within the natural sciences department, but it's located in our science center. So it's right above our science library. We have the latest technology for all of our computer science majors over there. So definitely something, if you're looking for it, we've got it, and a very strong program.
What's really nice about computer science, if you're interested in more of the operating systems or learning the guts of the computer, you can do that. Or if you want to do more of an operations management where you learn how to incorporate information management into a business organization, you could piggyback that onto some of our managerial courses. So really, either way, we'll have you covered. It's really great. Okay. Doug wants to know, if I'm not sure what I want to major in, how hard is it to switch once I officially, and when do I have to officially declare it?
All right. It's suggested here that you declare a major by the end of your sophomore year. But again, that's a suggestion. I know people who have declared their major, the second week of school. I know people who haven't declared their major until the end of their junior year. It's very easy to switch your major. A lot of students nowadays do come into school, take coursework in something that they never even realized that they would have passion in, and they decide they want to switch their major. My roommate actually intended on becoming a chemistry teacher. He started out as a chemistry major, ended up, he's now a geology major. It's really easy to switch your academic field as well. Every student is paired up with an academic advisor. This is a faculty member who is here to essentially guide you through the college process, help you choose the right coursework, make sure that you're still, you're staying on top of your classes, make sure that things are going all right for you. They do their very best to make sure that you're matched based on your interests. However, if you do decide that you want to switch your academic advisor, it's also easy. They don't take it personally. They're very nice people. They want to make sure that it's as easy for you to, make sure that you're in the right place at the right time with the right advisors.
Great. Awesome. Yeah, being in a small school, it's really great that we can get all the help that you need. Taylor wants to know, I would like to be a history education major. I would like to earn my teaching license for the 7th through 12th graders. Am I required to apply to the history department or the education department or both? This is such a helpful tool. Glad you like it.
Yes.
Looking forward to my visit on the 29th. Again,
right.
So glad you're visiting. Really, the way that you can think about if you're looking to be middle school or particularly high school teacher is that you can think of it as a double major in education as well as whatever areas of interest you want to be proficient in to teach. So in your case, that would be history. You'd be doing all your student teaching and all of those great things out of the education department, but then you'd also be heavily involved in the history department. So you can think that they just work together, and we really would encourage you to get involved in the education department right away your freshman year if that's what you want to do, so you can start getting into the classroom, doing your observations, and really figure out if that's the right path for you right away.
Yeah, and we offer 3 different licensures in the education department. We offer the early childhood education major, a middle childhood, and then the multi-age. So the 7th, 12th grade, Taylor, would be the multi-age licensure that you would want to look for.
What's really nice too is that once you leave here, you have everything you need to be fully licensed in the state of Ohio. We also have reciprocity with over 30 other different states. So unlike many of other schools, you may have to go and take other classes to complete your licensure. You would leave here with everything that you need to go on. So perfect. All right, Quentin wants to know what percentage of students return to OWU after their freshman year, and what percent of students graduate in 4 years? I'll go ahead and tackle that one. Our freshman year retention is right around 85%, which is actually well above the national average, which is in the 60s. So our students really find that they get in a niche here. They call this a home away from home and can't wait to come back for their sophomore year. And then the percentage of students that graduate in 4 years, of the students who start here together in a cohort as freshmen and stay, 90% of those will graduate within 4 years. So if you start at Ohio Wesleyan and you end at Ohio Wesleyan, you have a 90% chance of doing so within the 4-year timeline, which is, I can assure you, phenomenal compared to a lot of larger schools where you may not get into the classes that you need. We really do our best to try to advise you starting from day one so you can get out of here in 4 years. We do not want you doing a victory lap. We want you to go on and do what we've prepared you to do.
And I think that what Alicia is saying is right. We really, although we love our students, we really don't want you to have to be here for more than 4 years. We try to get you scheduled in all of the classes that you need, everything that you will need to go on to graduation. That's really where your academic advisor comes into play. So we love to have our students here on campus and active for 4 years.
Excellent. All right. Taylor wants to know, are graduate students allowed to teach classes, or are classes only taught by professors?
Classes are only taught by professors. We have no TAs. We have no graduate schools. Ohio Wesleyan actually, despite the fact that we have the title university, we have no graduate school students here. So all classes are taught by professors in their field.
Great. Yep. No graduate students. So you're really, like you said, just being taught by the experts. Zach wants to know, do you offer a certificate in teaching English abroad? To be honest, I don't know if we have that.
I'm not sure. I do not think so.
What you can do, Zach, is you can message us your email address, and we can look that up for you and get back to you. I don't recall ever seeing that, so I'm guessing we don't have it, but I don't know for certain. So, again, we want to get you really accurate information. Just give us your email, and we'll get back to you on that.
Quickly too, Zach, I do know that whether or not we do offer a certificate for teaching English abroad, I do have a couple of my friends actually who I graduated with who are teaching English abroad currently. So there are some programs where you can do that. I do not know, though, I'm sorry, whether or not we do offer the TEFL you're talking about.
Yeah, you can definitely go on, though, to do Teach for America, AmeriCorps. You will definitely be prepared to, like Kelly said, do any type of internship or program overseas. That won't be a problem. All right, good. Definitely keep your questions coming. We're really happy to be here tonight to be able to answer these for you. Want to make sure that you leave with everything that you need to know, so keep those questions coming. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about the student activities that you're involved in here?
Okay.
He's a very busy man. He's a very busy man.
One of the things that I have to preface this with is that in high school, I wasn't a very involved student. I was on the fencing team, which was cool, but that was pretty much my only commitment outside of class. One of the things that I made sure that I did at Ohio Wesleyan is try to change that. The first and second week of schools, you'll find fairs of all kinds of activities. They have a club fair. Clubs on campus come out, they show their flyers, their members hang out. It's a really good way to meet people. They allow you to sign up for messages. So within the first week, I signed up for the Ultimate Frisbee team, the Taekwondo club, and also for, oh gosh, I can't even remember the last one. Currently, I am the president of my fraternity here on campus, the Chi Phi fraternity. As well, I actually today had an audition for the co-ed a cappella group, the Outsiders. I'm
How'd
involved.
that go?
It went really well. I was really nervous, but they said I did well, so I'm going to believe them. I find out soon. As well, I am the vice president of the Order of Omega. It is a Greek honor society here on campus. Excuse me. As well as the vice president of Mortarboard, which is a national honorary society. So take it from a student who was not involved in high school. There are plenty of opportunities to get involved here.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing your story.
Yeah, it's a good one.
James wants to know, how long till after I apply do I know if I've gotten in?
Sure. We read application, James, on a rolling basis, we say. So as soon as we have a student's completed application, so all of their application materials, which includes an application, an essay, your high school transcripts, your guidance counselor recommendation, a secondary school report, and your official test scores. Once we have all of those application requirements and your application is complete, we will go ahead and read it. It will go through our admissions committee, and you will hear from us usually within about 2 to 3 weeks. So with your admissions decision letter, if you are offered a merit scholarship, that information will also be in there. So we do things pretty quickly. We've encouraged you to apply early, and if you do apply by our November 15th or November 30th early admissions process, You can find out by the holidays, by your winter break, if you've been accepted and possibly what type of merit scholarships we can offer you. So we do things very quickly. We don't like to let things pile up because we like to spend a lot of time focusing on a student's application. So we like to read them as they come in and really spend a lot of time getting to know the student through their application.
You mean you actually read the whole application?
Yes, I always
The real life person.
Yes, I always jokingly say to students that we really read everything you send us. If you have gone out and gotten 10 teacher recommendations, which I do not recommend you do, but if you've gone out and gotten 10 teacher recommendations, we will read all 10 of those teacher recommendations. So we read everything that a student sends us.
One of the things that really made my admissions process go very well here at Ohio Wesleyan is that I wrote my college essay on superheroes because why not? It was a self-reflection of myself based on the values of being a superhero. It was an interesting essay, and within about a week and a half, my admissions counselor actually sent me a handwritten letter saying, Macaulay, I really enjoyed your essay about superheroes. Like, you could tell that it wasn't a typed, like,
Generic.
Thank you, student number 6243. I really enjoyed your essay. Jane Hahn, she wrote out the letter to me. She sent it out herself, and it really made me feel good that they actually pay attention to all the things that you include in your application.
It's definitely a highlight of our year. I like
Yeah.
it. Taylor wants to know, do you have specific requirements in terms of recommendation letters for the application, and how many letters are suggested?
We only require one. We require just the guidance counselor recommendation. I always encourage students, though, that if there is someone else that maybe knows you a little bit better than your guidance counselor, not every student has sought help from their guidance counselor, has really gotten to know their guidance counselor. So I would suggest that if that is not the person that you think is going to give you the best possible recommendation, to go out and try to find someone who can. So another teacher is always, I think, recommended if you do not have the closest relationship with your guidance or college counselor. So we only require one, but as many as you think you need to get your point across and to get a good representation of you from a professional is really helpful for us in our office.
Good. James wants to know, do you offer any scholarships for being a son of a Methodist pastor? Yes, we do offer clergy scholarships. We were founded by the Methodist Church, and we do have those scholarships available. It is a $15,000 per year scholarship. However, it does not stack. So if you did receive an academic scholarship that was higher than the clergy scholarship, we would simply replace it and give you the highest award. But definitely make sure that you indicate that on your application so we can flag it and let our financial aid office know. All right. Elise wants to know, oh, this will be a good one.
Oh, yay.
Is OWU still fun? Both of my parents went to OWU and love the education they got, and they are both successful. But I don't want a rigorous college experience without the ability to have fun and enjoy my downtime. What has your experience been?
Okay.
Give us the truth.
First of all, do not take physics and vertebrate anatomy at the same time. They are two very hard classes. That's what I did last semester. Last semester was not fun. The most important thing, and the thing that you will hear emphasized from the time that you arrive on campus, is that learning occurs in the classroom and out of the classroom. It's important to have time that you hit the books, time that you study, but it's also really important that you have time that you relax, you hang out with friends, you socialize, you get to know people from all around the country. College is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It is what you make it, and I think that academics should always be the focus. It should always be the reason that you're here, but you shouldn't limit yourself to only your academic life. Make sure that you go out and you have fun. Make sure that you meet people. Make sure that you do something you've never done before. If there's a class that sounds interesting to you, go ahead, take it. If travel abroad is something that you might be interested in, definitely ask somebody about it. There are so many opportunities here to meet people, to try new things. This is college. Make sure that you take advantage of all of them.
And Kelly, your dad went here, didn't he?
Yeah, my dad went here also, and he says it was really fun. He was here in the 70s, so I don't know. But I think OWU is really fun, and it was pretty neat to hear the difference between his experience and my experience. I definitely had a lot of fun, but also was able to crack down when I needed to in the classroom. I think our students have a very balanced education here, which is what Macaulay is talking about a little bit. Knowing when to get your studies done, but getting them done in a timely manner so that you can have fun. I think that because of our student population being so diverse and people having so many different passions, We have a lot of very, very passionate students here on campus that make campus life really fun. Everything from cheering on the soccer team this past weekend to going to concerts and comedians and hypnotists. Ohio Wesleyan students are not afraid to be goofy and weird and fun. So I think that that's something that we really have going for us. And then we have downtown Delaware. You know, if your idea of fun is kind of hanging out with friends, going to see a movie, walking around downtown on maybe First Friday, which is when all of these stores are open on a Friday night, we have lots of different things for students to do here, and I think our students are having a lot of fun. I mean, I graduated in May and came back in June to start working because I was having so much fun.
And I did not, sadly, attend Ohio Wesleyan, but I love working here. I love being able to have students constantly in our offices and hearing about what they're up to and just going to all the sporting events, plays, everything. It's a very, very vibrant community. Even though it is so small, it feels like a much larger place just because there's so much to do. All right. Courtney wants to know, do you have a separate application for scholarships? Courtney, we do not have a separate application for scholarships. What we do is we take everything that you submit from your application and use all of that for scholarship as well as admission review. One of my favorite college tips is if you're a student who's really involved in a lot of different things, I think that a resume is a great way to highlight all of your academic and extracurricular achievements. All you'll need to do, type up maybe the honors or AP classes or whatever that you're involved in, and then really take time to highlight all of the extracurricular things that you do as well. And don't just say, like, you're in the band. Say, you know, I'm the section leader, or we've won this many competitions, or, you know, really elaborate on everything that you're doing because it shows that you're deeply involved in the organization. It also will show us leadership ability, and, you know, it really will just show us what types of things you like to spend your time doing. So really spend a lot of time highlighting everything. I know the boxes on the application are rather small, so if you do a resume, you can just write the attached resume and be done with it.
And I always tell students to brag, brag, brag. This is something I always emphasize to students because you are probably involved in a lot more things than when you sit down to fill out the common application. There are probably a lot of things that you forget. So sit down with your parents, your guardians, and figure out all of those things that you've done throughout school. I find that varsity athletes tend to forget all of those camps that they volunteered for and that sort of thing. You do a lot more outside of the classroom than you probably imagine. We also love to see students that have work experience. If you have not had the opportunity to maybe get involved in school, but you've held a job all 4 years in high school, that's something that we really look positively on. So make sure that you're putting that in there and letting us know that maybe you've held different positions and how many hours a week you're working. You're still involved, whether it's a school organization or outside of school.
Awesome. Taylor wants to know, because this is a good question, it can get a little confusing. What's the difference between early decision and early action?
Sure. Early decision is a binding admissions process. So think of decision as you are deciding. So that is a binding admissions process. Our early decision deadline is November 15th. And students that apply early decision will sign a agreement that states that if they are accepted at Ohio Wesleyan, they will withdraw all of their other applications and they will then enroll at Ohio Wesleyan. So it is a binding contract is how you can think of it. It is a pretty serious decision because you are then saying that you will withdraw all of your other applications that may be out there that you do not know a decision about. So early decision is for a student that is 100% positive on November 15th that if they are accepted at Ohio Wesleyan, they are going to move in August. So that is a pretty serious process. Early action, on the other hand, is non-binding, and that decision deadline for us is November 30th. So early action is non-binding. You are just acting early is what I always say. You may have not made your decision, but you have a priority deadline that you can meet and hear back from us a little bit sooner. So if we are in some of your top choices, early action is a very good option and it is non-binding.
Awesome. Kate wants to know, how do I know if you are going to be at the college fair at my high school?
All right. I love college fairs. I'm starting this week. I head over to Indianapolis to do some college fairs. So I'm really excited. A really great way to find our visit schedules is to go to our website. On our website, we have this really awesome tool that you can go and you can click on your state and our pictures will pop up. Your admissions counselor will be there and our whole visit schedule. So most of us are traveling. Some of our counselors are already out traveling. And we travel from right now, September, all the way into November. So you can find even your high school, you can find the college fairs we'll be at, where we're offering off-campus interviews. So if you haven't had a chance to make it to campus, we also hold off-campus interviews. So go to our website. When you go to our choose.owu.edu website, you'll be looking for OWU on the road. And it's a really easy way that you can find out when we'll be in your area and if we're coming to your college fair.
Yep, I definitely recommend it. It also has our smiling faces, so you can see what we look like. You can get our email addresses.
A little bit of biographical information.
Exactly.
What kind of dog I have.
It's great. It's awesome. So you can learn a lot from that website. Good, excellent. Joe said, I'm going to be visiting campus in the upcoming months and want to know if I'm allowed to spend the night. Mm-hmm. Well, you have the expert sitting right here, right? Both of us here.
Yeah.
Right here.
So I currently am supervising our overnight host team, which is a group of students on campus that host all of our students, prospective students that want to come and stay overnight. So you are more than welcome to come and stay overnight. We typically offer the overnight experience for seniors, and in the spring we offer it for admitted seniors. So that's a really great time to come and visit if you'd like to stay overnight. You will stay in one of our dorms, one of our residence halls here on campus. So you can live in or stay overnight in one of our many options for residence halls, stay with the student, and we like to pair you up with someone with similar interests or some type of connection. So if you're from a certain area of the United States, we might pair you up with someone from that area. If you are interested in biology, history, something like that, we'll pair you up with a host with similar interests so that you can learn more about it. So you are more than welcome to come and stay overnight. Just call us and we'll set up a visit.
Great. All right, Zach wants to know, just to clarify, even if we apply EA or early action, is it rolling? The answer is yes.
Yes.
We will let you know. And basically, if you apply by either ED or EA, if you apply by the deadline, we will let you know before we close our offices for the holidays. This year, I think it's December 21st.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that gets to us by the deadline, we promise we'll get you a decision out the door before we leave for break. All right. Joanna wants to know, thank you for answering all these questions. We do our best. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Joanna.
And this will be a good question for you, Macaulay. How many places are there to eat on campus? And when living in the dorms, are students allowed to have a mini fridge in their dorm or a microwave? You're an RA, right? So you know all the rules.
Yep.
Hit us up.
Okay, there are over 10 places to eat on campus, and they kind of range in size. So the largest being Smith Dining Hall, which is in the Smith Residence Hall. And that is pretty much the biggest place for people to eat dinner. I mean, it's a buffet style, but there are also small food carts that are kind of scattered around campus. So let's say, you know, for whatever reason you are running late to class, you haven't eaten breakfast, there are plenty of places that you can grab fresh baked muffins, coffee, which I did not drink until I arrived at college, and now I enjoy. You know, so there are all these little places, and you get to know the people that work there and where they are. As for the mini fridge, yes, you can have mini fridges in your room. Microwaves, I believe, yes, you can have microwaves. The only restriction that they really have is any appliance that has an internal heating coil, because it is a fire hazard. So that you know, if you have a question about it, they should have instructions on the residential life section of the website, or you can always call or email them.
Aren't there like kitchens?
Yeah, we also recently renovated a lot of the kitchens in the residence halls. So Welch Hall, for instance, has a brand new kitchen for students. There's typically a kitchenette on every floor. So there'll be a sink, a little bit bigger fridge, a toaster, which you are not allowed to have in your room, but they do have in the kitchenette areas because they are more closely monitored. So there are areas where you can use those if you do not bring a mini fridge or a microwave, but you are allowed to have a mini fridge and a microwave in your room, just nothing with an open coil.
Great. And either one of you can chime in on this next one from Elise. Are there volunteer requirements that students have to reach? If not, how open are the opportunities to volunteer?
Sure. I love questions about volunteering. It is a very big thing on campus for our students to do volunteer work. About 80% of our students are doing some type of service, public service, domestically or abroad. So we have students that are going all over to do volunteer opportunities. That can range from everything from a spring break mission trip to doing Habitat for Humanity right here in Delaware County. So there's a lot of ways to get involved. It is not required on campus. We do not require our students to do any community service. So it's pretty amazing that about 80% of our students are getting involved. Some of our larger groups on campus, I mentioned Habitat for Humanity. We have the Columbus City Initiative, which is a tutoring group that goes down to Columbus. And then we have great mission trips that happen over spring break. Yes, Macaulay's waving his hands.
Yes, I'm leading one.
Yeah, and then we also have a lot of different groups for students to do volunteer work off campus. Lots of ways to volunteer, the Humane Society here in Delaware County. So lots of ways to get involved.
Where are you guys going on your trip?
There are so many locations this year. My mission team is heading to New Orleans. We're going to be doing construction on houses that were damaged or destroyed during Hurricane Katrina. It was something I did last year. It's through the chaplain's office, which some people might think like religion. Honestly, it's one of the most open and accepting groups of people I have ever met. My only regret is that I only got involved last year in it. There are trips going out all over the place to, Fort Bragg in North Carolina, where the volunteers are going to be working with children who have family who are away at war. There's one trip going to Florida to work with rehabilitational horses who have been abused or rescued. That one is hugely popular. I mean, there are locations every year. The best part is if there is some trip that you really want to plan and have a team go with you, they always accept applications every year. There are so many ways to get involved, and it's not required, and that's the beauty of it. It's not a requirement for graduation at all.
And that kind of leads us into the next question. I know there are a lot of liberal arts colleges in Ohio. What do you think the biggest difference is between OWU and some of the other schools? Maybe we can each kind of answer that. And that's a great question. Fun fact, get ready. Ohio has the most colleges per capita of any state in the country. There are 72 private schools alone. So for me, I think the fun fact that really sets us apart from other schools in Ohio and other schools throughout the country is our TIPIT program. That stands for Theory into Practice into Theory. So basically what you can do is apply for a research grant to do independent research anywhere you want on any topic, anywhere in the world. What I think is phenomenal is that the students apply and get accepted at a rate of over 50%. So it's not just one or two students doing this. This year alone, we had 75 fully funded, fully approved programs for students. And it has allowed them to travel to places they never thought were possible and research things that they just only dreamt about. I know it sounds really cheesy, but these are things that can really change your life and really open doors for graduate school. I mean, can you imagine putting on an application that you got to study the lobster industry off the coast of Japan, for example? I mean, these are things that you cannot do at other schools at the undergraduate level, let alone get them fully paid for. So for me, I think that would be the thing that really stands apart. I don't know if you guys have any other things.
Yeah, I think something really neat about our campus is our students. I think that is really what sets us apart. And I know that you might be saying, well, every campus says that, but what I found at Ohio Wesleyan and what I still find from our students is that the diverse student population really brings a sense of community to our students. It's very interesting that a group of students that represents 47 states and 57 different countries can find this common ground here in the middle of central Ohio. So that is something that always amazes me and something I think that really sets us apart. Our students always feel comfortable here, always feel welcome here, which is a big thing. I can't tell you how many prospective students come through our doors and say, I just feel so welcome here. You know, I feel at home when I step on campus. And how many students I've talked to in the last couple of days between our tour guides and our overnight hosts, saying how amazed they were at how friendly our students are. I think that we have a very great group of students that is open to a lot of different cultures, a lot of different backgrounds because of our diverse student body. So we have a very comfortable setting here for a really, really strong campus community.
I'm going to kind of elaborate on that. One of the things that you'll hear here is the OWU community. You'll hear that phrase again and again and again and again. And I can't emphasize to you what a community it is. When I was doing my college tours, I went to a lot of schools that were a lot of fun. I met a lot of people who were very interesting, but there was no real feeling like the one that I got when I came to this campus. I did an overnight with a host student. I had a great time with him. We went out and saw American Gangster at the Strand Movie Theater. We went to the Internet Cafe. I really felt like he wanted me to see the campus and wasn't just kind of lugging me around like baggage for the day. He introduced me to his friends. I got to meet their friends. I mean, it was a really great experience, and it's the people that really make this school amazing. The teachers that are involved, students that are involved, the faculty that are involved, people really have an interest in you and what you are bringing to the school and who you are and your interests. It's unbelievable when you I promise you, if you show up at our campus, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Awesome. Great. Yeah, definitely come visit so you can see it firsthand. Elise wants to know, how much is the Greek life involved in other activities on campus?
Other activities on campus?
Like, is it just if you're in the Greek life, is it just like kind of that's all
That's
you
it.
do? Or, I mean, I know for you, didn't you have roommates who were who were in other sororities?
Yeah, Greek life is only about a third of the student population, and so it's very integrated in the campus community. Greek students tend to be very involved. Just like varsity athletes tend to be very involved. They are some of our shining stars on campus, our Greek students. But I think it's really neat. I think that the way that we integrate Greek life into the rest of the campus, into other clubs, other organizations is really great. Having it be only about a third, I think, is a really good number for our small campus. But again, like Alicia mentioned, I, for my 4 years here, had a couple of friends that did not want to go through Greek life, and I did. And I still was able to live with them all 4 years that I was here. They came to a lot of activities that were sponsored by my sorority on campus. I still went to a lot of theirs and was involved in a lot of things outside of Greek life as well. So it's pretty integrated into the campus community. Fraternities are allowed to host registered parties on campus that are open to everyone on campus, which I think is really neat. They are not just open to other Greek organizations. So you will see all types of students up at the dance parties, up on the hill where all the fraternities are located, or at Chi-Phi, which is a little bit further off campus, which is where Macaulay is. So there's lots of really cool things that the fraternities and sororities do, from dinners to dance parties to philanthropy events.
And the philanthropy events, I honestly think, are the most fun things you can go to. We started one last year. It was a chili cook-off, and it was one of the, not only did Greek organizations get involved, we had some people from the small living units, the themed houses. We had the faculty. Rock Jones entered a pot of chili on his own. I mean, it was open to the entire campus. Each organization has their own very, very memorable philanthropies. I know that Sigma Phi Epsilon always has a belly flop contest, which is terrifying to watch. Everyone's like this, but looking through their hands. I mean, it's so much fun, and it's not so rare are the instances where the members of Greek life just isolated to their brotherhood or their sisterhood. I mean, it's part of the campus.
Great. Taylor wants to know, what percentage of students live on campus versus commuters? Taylor, we actually ask all our students to live on campus for all 4 years. Every year there is a lottery for a select number of seniors to live off campus. And then the only other way that you can live off campus is if you are living with your parent or your legal guardian, and that is within Delaware County, the county that we are in here. So typically it's about 90–95% of our students are living on campus, which I think is really important. And it really matches the type of community. I know we've used that word a lot, but it matches our school and our personality. Everyone likes to be together. Everyone likes to be in this central location, so it just kind of works for us. It looks like we only have about 5 more minutes. We'll try to get through these last few questions. Okay, let's see. Zach wants to know, for the senior, sorry, I don't know your name, Macaulay, what other schools did you apply to, and why did you choose Ohio Wesleyan?
Okay.
Ooh.
Hitting it.
Zach, good question. My name is Macaulay, and honestly, when I went through my college selection process, I was the worst student at it. I mean, honestly, you know, they have that list of questions that are supposed to narrow down the number of schools. My answer was the same for all of them. You know, do you want to go to a big school or a small school, state school, private school, big school, small school? My answer was always, it doesn't really matter as long as it's a good school. Eventually, my college counselor got so sick of that answer that she just kind of threw a list of her favorite schools at me, and they ranged from Denison to University of Pittsburgh. I mean, a school with about 2,000 students to one with 40,000 students. because I really didn't know what I was looking for. And the way that I kind of figured it out was I went and visited those schools. I didn't really like the feel of a large state school, mostly because I felt a little lost. So I knew that after those initial tours, I wanted to be at a small liberal arts school. Um, my my mother was actually the one who suggested Ohio Wesleyan. She read about it in the 40 Colleges That Changed Lives book. And we were already going to some small liberal arts colleges in Ohio, so we just stopped by, and that's honestly where I had my experience that made my decision. I could see myself living at Ohio Wesleyan. I could see myself being here and being happy here, and that was the biggest thing.
Great.
Thanks, Zach.
And Zach also wants to know, can freshmen pledge?
Freshmen can pledge. The rule is you need to have an established Ohio Wesleyan GPA. And I think that's honestly a key piece of information, because the school wants you to get out there, get to know who's out there, what's out there, where your interests are, so you don't get so involved in the idea of rushing, that you rush into something that you didn't initially understand. So this way, it gives you a full semester to just kind of see what's going on and see if it's really something that you want to do. So freshmen can. It's just usually second semester.
Great. And then it looks like we'll have time for one last question. Just one more. Let me pick. What are the deadlines for my application? Kelly.
Awesome. So we have a couple of applications coming up, and I would encourage you to check this out more on our website, choose.owu.edu. But our first application deadline is our early decision deadline. It is November 15th. We have an early action deadline of November 30th. And then we also have regular decision in March. So those are all the dates. Again, we would strongly encourage you to apply by those November dates.
And I'll leave you just one last tip. I know that we've said this earlier in the chat, but I just want to emphasize, if you go to our website, choose.owu.edu, you can look and see OWU on the road. You can pick your location of where you live, your state, or your county within Ohio, and you can see our smiling faces here and learn a little bit more about us, and you can see our entire schedule for the fall. So the chances are we will be in your area either September, October, November timeframe, college fairs. We'll be doing off-campus interviews. Please, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are the ones who read your applications, so we really want to get to know you. Email us, call us. We would love to hear from you. Any last parting words?
Yeah, I really hope that I've had a chance to answer any of your questions. Please, just come and take a look at the campus. It's one of the things that will change your admissions process. I know that sounds really cryptic and mystical, and I had no idea what people were talking about. My overnight is honestly the event that made my decision for where I wanted to be at college. I think that that's a really important thing that people should experience.
Great. Well, we hope you've enjoyed our chat. We do have upcoming chats in the near future about the application process, the financial aid process, anything else you want to know. So we hope you've enjoyed our chat, and we'll say goodnight and goodbye. We hope you come see us. Goodbye.
Have a good rest of your night.
Oh.